has just been issued for parts of Greene and it looks like basically Greene County. So from Monroe all the way up to Monticello and then down toward Brodhead. We have a tornado warning for a possible tornado south of Monroe. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at, first of all, how this storm has developed. Notice we're starting to see a little bit of rotation here, a hook echo developing just to the south of Monroe. And so I'm going to do a quick storm track on this to give you an idea as to where this storm is headed. Right now, it's heading to the northeast pretty rapidly at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. I'm just looking at the latest information from the National Weather Service. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Monroe, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. The storm also capable of producing quarter-sized hail. So the storm track on this would take it basically to the northeast, eventually to Monroe within the next couple of minutes, Albany by just before 5:30. So this tornado warning in effect for Greene County, and again, that is until 5:30. So we've been watching these cells come out of northern Illinois. They've mainly been hail producers, but what we're watching is rotation, and that is right here. So here's Monroe. We're also seeing an area of rotation right here. This is this is the area that we're actually most concerned because we're seeing more rotation. We're seeing the reds, the winds that are blowing away from the radar here, and these winds are blowing toward the radar. So the rotation is about maybe, let's do a quick check on this as far as spacing on this, probably about, maybe 4 miles south of Monroe. So if you are anywhere along Highway 11, anywhere along Highway 69, and then over toward Highway 59, if you're in that area, you need to take cover immediately. This storm is starting to produce some pretty significant rotation and could produce a tornado at any time. Now, right now, we just have a radar indication of the tornado, but again, this storm could produce a tornado. We're watching the tornado debris signature. Right now, we're not seeing anything in this area of let's say, purple here that would indicate that debris is being lofted. If we start seeing these blue pixels in here, that would indicate that debris is being lofted. Alex, do you have something for me here?
Yep, we have an upgrade of the severe thunderstorm warning in Lafayette County. Eastern Lafayette County has now been upgraded to a tornado warning.
Okay, and that is probably for that other cell. And let's go back here to see where that warning is here. And so again, this is right now, this is the warning, the first warning here, and this is the second warning, and that's for that other cell that's actually back toward the south and west. So we'll stop it here. So two cells that we're watching. One just to the south of Monroe, the other one right along the Lafayette-Greene County line, just to the south of Argyle. Both of these storms are tracking to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. This storm capable of producing hail, especially east of Argyle, but this storm here, just south of Monroe, probably has the stronger of the two rotations. So let's take a look at it. So here's the one rotation. Again, a broad rotation. We've been watching this as it comes out of northern Illinois. So this is right along Highway 11. That'll be heading toward Highway 81 between Argyle and Monroe. The other more stronger rotation is just to the south of Monroe, say about 3 miles south-southeast of Monroe. That storm is moving toward the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So if we do a storm track on each of these storms here, and let's just take a quick peek at this here and do a storm track so you get a rough idea of the timing on these. The first storm, whoops, I'm going to do this one here. Let me just clear this, makes it easier. So I'll just do a quick track on that storm. So again, moving northeast at say 45 miles per hour, almost 50 miles per hour, that takes the storm about as far as Albany by about 5:25. So if you're anywhere between Albany and Monroe, you need to get to a safe place immediately. This storm really starting to produce some significant rotation. The other storm that's farther to the west, that's right along the Lafayette and Greene County line, that storm, if we do a track on that, that takes it more toward Monticello, that area there. So Monticello, 5:33, New Glarus by about 5:36. So if you are in, say, the western 2/3 of Greene County, anywhere from say around Brodhead westward. So let's just say all of Greene County to keep it simple. If you are in Greene County, you need to take cover immediately. If you're in Lafayette County, the far eastern portions of Lafayette County, south of Argyle, that's the danger zone because those storms have been continuing to exhibit rotation as they head off to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So again, here's the rotation just south of Monroe. The more broad rotation now moving across the county line into far southwestern portions of Greene County, say about maybe 10 miles west of Monroe, right along Wisconsin Highway 11. Both of these are tracking off toward the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. As far as the tornado debris indication, not seeing any debris lofted from either of these areas. So that's an indication, at least for now, that there's a rotation, but it may not be reaching the ground. If we start seeing some of these lighter blue pixels in the purple area here, that would be an indication that debris is being lofted into the air. But this is shear track. This shows where we're seeing rotation in the atmosphere. And you can certainly see how both of these storms have tracked out of northern Illinois. The rotation has been pretty significant over the last maybe 15 to 20 minutes. So again, as these storms develop and head off toward the north and east, there's a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. And as these storms start to develop a little bit more, that indicates the potential, at least, for not only large hail, and some of these areas here indicate hail perhaps up to the size of quarters or even a little bit larger. But more importantly, these storms are racing to the northeast. So no warnings right now for Dane County, no warnings for Rock County, but these storms definitely heading in that direction. The good news for everybody else is if you're west of this, I think the severe weather threat is pretty much over with. If you're, say, from Columbia County through Dodge County, say from Columbus to Beaver Dam, over toward Jefferson, down toward Janesville and Beloit, you still have the potential for some severe weather over the next maybe 1 to 2 hours. And in fact, if we put 3-hour future track in motion, you can see how rapidly these storms head off to the northeast. So again, they'll be out of the area pretty quickly. So let's go back and take a look at the warnings that we have in effect right now. We have a tornado warning right now. That is for most of Greene County, central and southeastern Greene County. That's until 5:30. We also have a tornado warning farther to the west now, and that is in effect until 5:30. So that's for the extreme eastern portion of Lafayette County, although the storm is starting to move out of Lafayette County. So it's more for the rest of Greene County. So let's just say all of Greene County, tornado warning in effect until 5:30 p.m. Let's go back and take a look at the fast movement of these storms. They are producing hail. The good news is they'll move through pretty quickly. That also means, though, the potential for some strong straight line winds. And as we check out let's take a look at just trying to track these out here a little bit better to give you some times. The storm now near Monroe, that's the more significant storm. That would be moving all the way up almost toward Evansville by about 5:45. So again, eastern portions of Greene County, north and east of Monroe, that's the danger zone right there. This area has the potential for a tornado to move in from the south and west. The other cell that we're watching is a little farther to the west. This one has a little bit weaker rotation, but still has the potential for producing a tornado. This one now, let's say just southwest of Argyle, that's moving toward the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. That takes it to Monticello by about 5:35, and eventually up toward Albany by about 5:40. So Greene County right now, that is the danger zone area. If we look at the rotation, here's the rotation now. It looks like it's right along Highway 11 east of Monroe. So Monroe, you're not out of the woods yet, but the rotation itself is moving just to the east of Monroe. In fact, I'll put a couple little markers on here so you just kind of get an idea if there is a tornado where it might be. And let's put one right here. And the other one, boy, that rotation has gotten a little more broad. That's the one that's further to the west. That's now southeast of Argyle, right along Highway 11. That's tracking toward the northeast, but this one has the more significant rotation. So this is really the danger zone east of Monroe, but either of these storms could produce a tornado at any time. And again, tornado warnings in effect pretty much for all of Greene County until 5:30. Now, we'll go ahead and look at the tornado debris signature. Again, not seeing any debris lofted. That's a good sign, but again, the rotation is there and these storms could produce a tornado at any minute. Notice the shear tracks. This indicates the rotation, so they continue to track off. Now we're seeing, when we start to see this, the little lighter color in there, that indicates a more significant wind rotation. So again, this cell, the one that's just east of Monroe, that's the one that we're really keeping an eye on. They're also capable of producing hail, nickel to quarter-sized hail as the storms track off toward the north and east. But again, most of the severe weather activity, I think, is going to be, say, from Dane County, Madison southward. No warnings right now for Dane County or the city of Madison, but most of Greene County under a tornado warning. Rock County, no warnings. These storms probably will really affect more of the northwestern half of Rock County as they hold together. Eastern Dane County, Jefferson County, maybe Dodge County. So areas east and southeast of Madison appear to have the higher severe weather risk. There are a couple of stronger cells that are trying to develop north and east of Richland Center. No warnings on those right now. National Weather Service has been watching those pretty closely. But again, 3-hour future track radar shows the fast movement of these storms. That indicates they'll move out of the area pretty quickly, but that also indicates the potential, at least, for some strong straight line winds as they move on through. So again, that's 3-hour future track radar. Just wanted to show you, if you are in the path of a tornado, center part of your basement, best place to be. If you're anywhere in Greene County, you need to be in a safe place. If you don't have a basement, an interior room or closet, somewhere in the middle of your house as far away from outside walls and windows as possible, because that will deflect the winds from getting into the middle part of the building, at least more efficiently. Make sure you cover yourself with pillows, blankets, anything you have. A bicycle helmet would be a great thing to put on. And then, obviously, you're in a mobile home, you need to get out. If you're in a mobile home right now, I mean, if you're ahead of the storm, get out of it and get into a sturdy building or some safe place nearby. But obviously, mobile homes are not a place to be. Don't get in your car. Try to outrun the storm. These storms are moving pretty quickly at about maybe 50 to 60 miles per hour in some cases. So again, that's something to take into consideration. Looks like we've got a little bit of an update on this storm here. Let's check with the National Weather Service here. So this is that tornado warning for eastern portions of Greene County, now indicating the potential for half-dollar-sized hail. The storm near Monroe moving northeast, they have it at about 40 miles per hour. So again, this storm has tracked south of Monroe, now is located just to the east of Monroe between Highway 59 and Highway 11. But as it heads toward the north and east, if you're in Evansville, I would be ready to move to a safe area because that storm is heading in your direction. Maybe even anywhere east of Belleville and southern portions of Dane County. As this storm continues to track off in this general direction, it could affect areas south of, say, Oregon, south of Stoughton in Dane County over the next half hour to 45 minutes. We'll have to see how well it holds together. The storm farther to the west right now, I don't see, let's see if we see as much rotation on that. Just looking at the wind rotation. So here's the storm east of Monroe, kind of getting sheared apart a little bit, but the rotation definitely there right along Highway 59. The storm in the western portion of Greene County, now out of Lafayette County, that storm really not as much rotation. Alex, got something?
Gary, meteorologist Alex Harrington here, covering with Gary. Folks back in production, if you can put up frame sync 3, which should have program 72. We actually do have a viewer submitted photo of this lowering as we see right now directly south of Monroe. This is what we would call very likely a wall cloud. Would you agree with that, Gary?
I would. I would. Yeah, that's right at the part of the storm where obviously if it was going to produce a tornado, that would be the most likely area to have that happen. So again, we're watching this very closely. Again, 2 cells, but I think the one just east of Monroe right now is probably the more significant of the 2. That is right along Highway 11 and basically will follow along Highway 59 and then into the eastern portions of Greene County and maybe even eventually to the northwestern portion of Rock County. No warnings right now for Rock County, but pretty much all of Greene County right now under a tornado warning, and that is until 5:30 p.m. So we continue to watch that. I'm monitoring the National Weather Service here to see if they have any updates. Haven't seen any reports, at least, of a I haven't seen any reports of an actual touchdown, so that's good news. Again, what we were seeing, at least as far as the rotation, not quite as intense as it was earlier, especially the cell that's now southeast of Argyle and west of Monroe. That one, probably a hail producer, and it could be producing some significant hail, maybe half-dollar size or more from that cell. Looks like the warning for Lafayette County has been canceled. So now we're just dealing with the tornado warning for pretty much all of Greene County, and that is in effect until 5:30. So these areas are areas that could be seeing some more significant hail. Again, north and east of Monroe, that's that cell that has the tornado warning associated with it. But again, this is a situation where these storms are in a pretty favorable environment for producing severe weather. They're moving quickly, so there's a lot of wind. We're seeing that by the fast movement of the storms. We're seeing significant areas where hail has been produced. And then we're also seeing these areas of rotation. Now, the rotation that developed south of Monroe now is northeast of Monroe, right along Highway 59, north of Highway 11. So that's about where if there is a tornado, most likely place to be. So anywhere, if you're along Highway 59, if you are over toward Albany, basically anywhere west of Evansville, this is an area that you need to be in a safe place. That storm still capable of producing a tornado at any time. The storm farther to the west, still a warning out on it, but right now the tornado threat, I think, has dropped quite a bit. That storm probably more capable of producing large hail and maybe some strong winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour as it tracks west of Monroe and eventually heads up toward Monticello. If we do a storm track on this, and I'll do that right here, just to get an idea of where these storms are headed and give you an arrival time on these. Again, this one, the cell that's northeast of Monroe, moving northeast, say at about 40 miles per hour, that takes it over towards as far as Evansville by about 5:45. Now again, Evansville not under a tornado warning, but right up to the county line, that area is under a tornado warning. Albany, 5:33. Right now, we're at about 22 after 5, so that gives you about 10 minutes before the storm is in the Albany area. The storm farther to the west, Alex, hold on one second. Let me just do a quick storm track on this, and we will jump in here. I just want to do a very quick storm track just to give you an idea of where this other cell is heading. Again, this one is heading more toward Monticello and eventually Attica. This is over the next 20 to 25 minutes. This storm, main threat probably is going to be large hail. Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Just want to also, if we can pull up viewer photos again here, folks, we want to underline it, when it is safe, it is okay to take these photos. This is probably a little bit too close to being safe. But again, thanks, David, for sending us this picture here showing this lowering near Monroe. Looking at our feed from the National Weather Service, there is confirmed rotation, to my understanding, from what we're seeing in that feed with that cell, this supercell thunderstorm, this rotating thunderstorm that is now moving just to the east of Monroe. And also, David, verifying that this storm does have large hail with it as well. You can see here in this picture, hail with the storm. A little bit difficult to see. I zoomed in a little bit. I would imagine that hail is on the size of about a quarter sized hail, which is severe hail. So just wanted to pass along. Not only do we have the radar, do we have the tools that are showing you where this storm is, where we think this rotation is, we have verification from our viewers that there is a lowering east, probably now just east of Monroe, and we also have large hail being reported.
And Alex, it looks like the National Weather Service has cut back on the tornado warning pretty much for areas south of Highway 11 for Greene County. So that indicates that as that storm continues to head off toward the northeast, we're not seeing farther development farther to the south down toward Illinois. So right now, the main threat area is going to be from Monroe to about Albany, and then a lesser threat, but still the possibility that the storm could produce a tornado at some point from near Cadiz in the far southeastern or southwestern portion of Lafayette County, but more now starting to develop north and west of Monroe over toward Monticello, right along Highway 69. This area right in here. New Glarus is a little farther to the north there. New Glarus is kind of on the northern fringe of the tornado warning area. But again, if you are pretty much over the central or northern portions of Greene County, you need to be in a safe place. And if you're in far southern and southeastern Dane County, northwestern portions of Rock County, you're not under a warning yet, but these storms continue to track off to the north and east. The good news is they've weakened a little bit. I'm just going to save this here so that I can keep the same camera perspective, but you can see the storms moving pretty rapidly. This is about 50 to maybe 55 miles per hour right now. That first cell has started to weaken a little bit. The second cell producing hail, especially west of Monroe, south of Monticello, but that is racing off toward the north and east. Farther to the west, things have started to settle down quite a bit. If we look at the velocity right now, the cell that's now north and east of Monroe, probably right along Highway 59, just south of Highway 39, southeast of Monticello. And let's do a quick scan here just to give you a distance. Right now, that rotation would be about 7 miles to the northeast of Monroe here. So that cell heading, again, toward the northeast, toward Evansville. The other cell over southwestern portions of Greene County now, maybe a little bit of rotation between Monroe and Monticello, not too much. In fact, neither of these rotations nearly as strong as they were about maybe 10 to 15 minutes ago when the tornado warning first came out for Greene County. But this is still a pretty serious situation. You normally don't have severe weather in February. So the atmosphere is juiced up to the point to where we are seeing strong to severe thunderstorms. Hail certainly a possibility from any of these storms because it's just so cold aloft, very easy to make hail. And the fast movement of the thunderstorms indicates at least a straight line wind possibility, even if you're outside the tornado warning area. So again, we're watching this cell east and northeast of Monroe. That one's going to be tracking up again toward Evansville, Albany, in the northeastern portion of Greene County, northwestern portions of Lafayette County. So we continue to watch the National Weather Service here, just seeing if there's anything new here. Nothing new. Again, we have not seen any reports of a tornado touchdown. That's good news. If we look at what we call the tornado debris signature, we're not seeing too much. This area here might bear a little watching, but right now, normally we'd be seeing like lighter blues. That would be an indication that debris is certainly being lofted into the air. But this is probably more hail that is being detected there because we were getting reports of large hail. Out to the west and northwest of Monroe, again, this area here, maybe a little bit of something, but that also could correspond to the large hail that is being reported out of this storm. The rotation tracks continue very steadily off toward the north and east. That's a good confirmation for meteorologists that, hey, this storm has produced rotation. It's continuing to produce rotation, so it bears some watching. The cell that basically moved in the southwestern portion of Greene County, kind of producing a little rotation around Monroe, but farther to the north where the main part of that cell is starting to produce more large hail, not seeing as much rotation there. So it's more of a heavy rain and hail producer at that point. Here's the hail track, and you can see right around Monroe, certainly to the south and west of Monroe, this storm has produced inch to inch and a half in diameter hailstones as they move off toward the east. Alex?
Yeah, just a brief update here from our friends at the National Weather Service. Going to give you a little breather here for a moment. These cells are moving through south central Wisconsin. As we speak right now, our friends at the National Weather Service want to relay that the environment is situated for these thunderstorms to continue to be severe as they move off towards the north and towards the east. That means they will be moving along the I-94 corridor. So if you, as we continue to move into the rush hour here, if you have travel on the Beltline, if you have travel towards the east on I-94, if these storms hold together, which our friends at the National Weather Service do feel as though that they will, that the environment is set, that the thunderstorm will continue to pose that severe weather threat as folks drive along I-94 between Madison and Milwaukee. Just wanted to point that out with the rush hour.
Yeah, and again, these storms are moving through the Madison area right now. No warnings for Dane County. The tornado warnings are for Greene County, the northern portions of Greene County, but those cells are heading back toward the north and east. Looks like the National Weather Service is issuing a new severe thunderstorm warning, so let's go back here. This one will include parts of Dane, Greene, Jefferson, and Rock counties. So this will be the new warning here, and it's a pretty large one because of the fact that this weather system is moving pretty rapidly toward the north and east. So the new warning, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, and I'll do a query on this so you can just kind of see how it'll flash the area here. So this is the new severe thunderstorm warning. This in effect until 6:15 covers southeastern portions of Dane County, east of Belleville, over towards Stoughton and up toward or down toward Edgerton. It covers the northwestern portion of Rock County, so basically from just north and west of Janesville through Evansville, and then the rest of Greene County that's not in the tornado warning area. Those tornado warning areas have been whittled down a little bit to the south of Highway 11. The warning has been canceled there because the cells are moving toward the north and east, but it looks like that line is trying to develop back toward the Monroe area. So we saw that one cell move here. The second cell kind of went here, and then more development started to take place here. So let's take a little closer look at that. I'm going to save this so I can go back to it. And so here's, again, you can see how that first cell just kind of went up here, and now that second cell just kind of went to the north, and more development started to take place down toward the south and west. So if we take a look at this, again, the Monroe area probably going to get some heavy rain, maybe some hail as that storm tracks to the north and east. anytime you look at a cell at the southern end of a line of storms, that's an area that would be primed for, if there is going to be a tornado, that would be an area to really watch. And this is right around Monroe. Now, we're not seeing any rotation here, maybe some broad rotation right around the city of Monroe. That cell that tracked south and east of Monroe, now up toward the intersection of Highway 59 and Highway 39, that is just to the south and east of Monticello, north and west of Broadhead. So this is the area that, if we have a tornado right now, is probably the most likely area. But again, tornado warning in effect, and we'll go back here because they may have had to extend this here. Well, let's go back and take a look. Okay, the National Weather Service is allowing the tornado warning to expire for Greene County right now. So good news is the tornado threat has lessened a little bit, but this whole area, the severe thunderstorm warning, still a tornado possible threat. So we're going to keep a very close eye on the situation. We're going to go back to programming, but we'll be back if conditions warrant.